Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have Andrei from Tone Films. Andrei, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Okay, so let's just start with the history lesson. Tell us a little bit about you and how you started your company.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on this podcast. It's pretty cool. Um, the way I started Tone Films was I started Tone Films back in 2020, and this was right during COVID time, and that's when a lot of people were just getting out of business. That's when I saw an opportunity to get in the business, and I started right after I graduated with my master's in finance from Liberty University. And I was deciding if I should go to New York City to find a job in finance, on Wall Street, or if I should just do something else, find a job somewhere else, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I got my bachelor's, or just any other places where I had more connections. And I prayed, and then I felt led to just go to New Orleans where my brother lived, and I spent that summer of 2020 in New Orleans. And this is during the pandemic. It's in 2020, and I really needed to make some money. And then the only thing that I could think of at that time was to become an Uber driver, and that's how I started my venture as a videographer, so to say. I became an Uber driver, and I made some money over that summer. I think I saved up about $8,000 or so. And my brother Benjamin in New Orleans, he said, "Hey man, I'm doing video." He was already doing videography at that time. I think he started in 2017, and I was doing videography before 2020 as well. I think it was a vlogger, so I was just vlogging some videos. I was getting some track on YouTube, not a whole lot, but just a little bit to keep me, motivated um, to push through and then pursue this videography trend. And my brother said, "Hey man, I'm doing videography. Do you just want to, start your own company?" And then, he was pretty successful. He is still very successful. And I said, "Yeah, sure." So he pretty much showed me the ropes on what does it take and what does it mean to be a videographer or to start up a video production company. And that's what I did. That summer of 2020, I created an LLC and got a website. I launched my business, Tone Films on the Knot. So I started as a wedding videographer, and that's how I started. And even that summer, I remember I had a first client. I think in a month and a half or so after I launched the company, I already had a contract signed, and I was out there filming. So that's how I started Tone Films. I started back in 2020 in New Orleans, and then I relocated.
So, what does
It's
it take
interesting.
to become a videographer? Like he showed you the ropes and what it takes to become one. What did he teach you early on?
What was the question again?
Like you said, your cousin over there was teaching you the ropes and what it takes to become a videographer and a business owner. Like, what were the some of the early things he was teaching you?
Um, Pretty much everything, because I had no idea of what does it take to have a company, what does it take to run a business, and some of the first things that he showed me were, first of all, I needed to have a website, I needed to have a name for the company, and I needed to make sales. I needed to find people to, pay me for my services, because you may be, that's what I tell my clients right now. I tell them all the time, you may be having the best product in the world, but if people don't know about you, it's like your product is non-existent. So my brother told me, I said, "You're now learning, you may not, you're offering a good product, but you need to market yourself." So he said, "Get yourself a website so that you show people your portfolio, and then sign up on the Knot, which was a place, to get weddings from or potential clients from." And that's pretty much it. That's These were some of the most important things uh, that he taught me.
So you kind of stumbled into video. It wasn't like necessarily you'd always had a huge passion for video. You wanted to move into it as a career. Like, I mean, you kind of went over the details of how you kind of jumped into it, but what kind of kept you going in video after that? Because that wasn't the original plan for you, right? He basically showed you how to start a company, and video just happened to be the product that you were selling, right? So what kind of kept you going from there?
Yes, that's a very good question. What kept me there was the fact that I became passionate about it. I was also doing some videography beforehand, but I was in front of the camera. I was the vlogger, but now this time I was behind the camera creating the content for other people. I just got passionate about it. I guess that's the reason I got passionate about getting those cool shots, putting them together, and then creating some amazing videos. And I remember I moved to Tulsa that summer. My brother told me, he said, "Hey man, we have the same last name." His company was called Tone Weddings and Tone Productions. My company was called Tone Films. We shared the same last name. And he said, "Hey, I don't want people to confuse your startup brand with my brand." And he's been doing it for a while. He said, I'm going to help you start the company, but just, if you want to move somewhere else, other cities, so that there's a clear distinction between the two companies, that'll be great. So I moved back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I got my bachelor's degree, and I had a lot more connections there. I knew more people. So I knew I could probably sign a couple of contracts into the videography world and just start right there. And that's how I continued the journey. And I realized, the pay was really good in the videography. I guess that's like another factor that kept me in. The pay was really good. I was doing a decent job, and I was getting more clients. And then as an entrepreneur, we see this need, and then we try to fulfill the need, right? That's what entrepreneurship is about. And I saw this need of reliable videographers who deliver quality work. And I saw a lot of it. There was a gap of reliable videographers who delivered, high quality work. I mean, there were some of them, and then the ones who do this, they're very successful. But a big majority of these videographers out there, majority of them are freelancers, and they don't run themselves as a company because they're freelancers. And then that's when I realized that there's gotta be a company out there that is reliable. They reply to emails on time. They respond to phone calls, to text messages. They are reliable. If someone has an event coming up, they need to find a company that they can count on. And not only that, but also deliver high quality services, high standards. And I made some research, and I was like, man, there's no such a thing. I remember one time I called a couple of my competitors in the Tulsa area, and some of them were not even, the number was wrong. When you call a number and then it just says the number is not in service anymore. How can you list a company like that and then not even be in business? I guess it happens, but that's something that kept me going. The fact that I realized that there's a big need for reliable companies out there that deliver high quality standard footage and then videos. I said, I gotta be that guy. And then the more I did it, the better the company was performing, and then the finances were skyrocketing. And then so that was the driving factor of it.
So take us through, like, you started the company already, you're doing good work and everything, to right now. Like, what's that journey been like? Like, how big is your company? Like, where do you guys operate out of?
Yes. So I started in the summer of 2020, and then soon after that, in August or September, I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Soon after I started the company, and that's where I not only launched my company on the Knot as doing weddings, but also I listed my company on Google. I realized a lot of people search for local videographers on Google, and that was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then I realized that if I want to get more clients, I need to find a way to rank high on Google search. So I had to train myself on what does it take and what does it mean to rank high on Google, such as if someone were to um, type in on Google Tulsa videographers or certain keywords like local video production company in Tulsa or Tulsa video production company. I had to learn the algorithm, Google's algorithm on what makes a company rank high on Google, right? So I learned that SEO, and shortly, I think probably it was a matter of months, maybe 1 or 2 months, my company was ranking number 1 or number 2 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I only had, 10, 15, 20 reviews, not a whole lot. And then I said, well, okay, I'm number 1 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but then I still need more leads. If I want to do this full time, I need to have more clients. And soon after that, I realized that I needed to launch my company in other cities. And after Tulsa, I said, well, the closest big city from Tulsa is Oklahoma City. And then I launched a second location in Oklahoma City. And then I did the exact same thing. I optimized the company to become the number 1 in Google search. And when people in Oklahoma City would type in Oklahoma City or OKC Video Production Company or OKC Videographers, Tone Films would pop up, the number 1 or number 2, up there, top 3 on the Google search under the maps section. And I said, okay, well, what if I want to make more money? And then what if I want to help more people or just expand more? And then I said, the only option is to just, launch another location. And I launched another location, and that was Dallas, because it was kind of like a triangle. You have Tulsa, you have Oklahoma City, and then Dallas. Dallas was also a big city. And I said, well, it's pretty competitive to be the number 1 in Dallas, right? Because it's a big market. I mean, it's a big city. There are a lot of companies out here. So, but I said it's not impossible. I did it in Tulsa. I did it in Oklahoma City. I may as well do it in Dallas as well. And I moved the location from Tulsa to Dallas because I had more Google reviews in Tulsa. So when I moved it to Dallas, I think the location had over 100 reviews by that point, like 150 or 130, something like that. And then shortly after that, I think it was a matter of like 3 to 4, 5 months, I kept on asking people for Google reviews. And, I learned the SEO route, and then the company was ranking number 1 in Dallas. And right now we're still, top 3 video production companies in Dallas. We're the same number 1 in Oklahoma City, same in Tulsa. And I said, okay, what's next? I got Dallas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. I said, there are more cities out there. And I said, Nashville is a pretty cool city. I may as well I want to travel to Nashville. It's a city of music. Everyone goes on Broadway. I want to check it out. And that's exactly what I did. I went there one time, and I loved the city. I connected with some people, and I opened the 4th location in Oklahoma City. And I did the exact, I followed the same blueprint, start the location, SEO optimize the location, rank high on Google, get clients, move on to the next location, and then make sure all these locations, keep staying up top on Google search. And, so I had these 4 locations: Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Nashville. And I kept on opening more and more locations. And now we are in 2026. So about 6 years later, the company operates in over 20 cities. And, including New York City, Miami, a couple of locations here in the Dallas area, because I reside in Dallas. So anything surrounding Dallas is pretty much, we have a location there. Such we have 2 locations in Dallas. We have one in Frisco, which is a suburb of, we have 2 actually in Frisco. Frisco is a suburb of Dallas. We have one in Plano, one in Fort Worth, Texas, one in McKinney, one in Waco, one in Austin, Texas. We plan on expanding to not San Francisco. Some like other cities here in the Texas area, like Houston. Yeah, we're also in California, Los Angeles. So that was the idea. I said if I could do it in like 3, 4 cities, I can do it in as many cities as I want, and the sky is the limit. So that's where we operate in over 20 cities right now.
So when you talk about locations, just for people to understand, our listeners, um, you're talking about basically that's kind of where you virtually operate, and then you have connections and people within those cities that you can reach out to help fulfill client demands and needs, or is it like you actually have some physical employees that work in some of these cities?
Yes, that's a very good question. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about this. So we have local videographers. So we partner with local videographers. So we have, because every time I mean I get emails asking, hey, can I work for Tone Films? I'm a freelancer. I'm a videographer. What are the requirements? And how can we work for? So we vet a lot of these videographers and we have interviews with them and then we add them on our roster, on our database. So every time we have an event, let's say in Nashville, I have a team of maybe 3 to 4 videographers that I can count on. They have the equipment that we're using, which is Sony equipment. We're very strict on the equipment list. So all the videographers that we work with, they need to have Sony gear. If they have Blackmagic, nothing against it. It's just I don't work with people who operate Blackmagic or Panasonic or I don't know what other brands are out there. I just like to have a certain look, and then Sony is the look that has it, and then Canon as well. Canon for photography, Sony for videography, or vice versa. They're good, Sony and Canon. So we vet all of these videographers, make sure they have the equipment that we use, and we operate the LUTs and all the camera settings, and then the style, and that's pretty much it. So when clients come up to us and they ask us, hey, do you operate in Nashville? I'm like, that's how, first of all, that's how you found us. We do operate in Nashville because that's how you found us, as Nashville Video Production Company. But then I tell them, yes, we operate in Nashville, so we have a team of videographers there. And then depending on the project, if it's a, multiple six-figure project, then I'll most likely be there. Or if it's, over like $50,000 project, then I'll be there. I'll fly myself there. I'll be there with the team. We're gonna film together, and I will make sure the deliverables are on the spot. So it depends on the project. Most of the times, I just work with the videographers on site. They're like main shooters, so to say. So they have the equipment. They also have people skills, which is a very unique skill for a videographer. A lot of videographers, they're artists. They're more inclined into having that creative eye. They see the shot, they film it. A lot of them, they're good at that. And we have some people like this, they're very niche oriented into their cameras and gear and then look, and not so much on the people skills. Whereas that's where I see the big need is having an entrepreneur and then a business person who understands both the video production world and in the business world, where you have this transaction in between good customer service and then the deliverables of the assets of the footage. And that's where I collaborate with great videographers. They know what they're doing on site, and I connect them with the client. So it's a win-win. The videographers, they need a business person to help them get the leads and so forth. So yes, we do have a location, and then we work with videographers on site. They're vetted videographers, so to say.
Curious
These
about your
also,
hold on a second, Carol. I'm curious
yeah,
about
go
your
go.
vetting process with these videographers, like, because you seem to have like a ton of locations. Like, do you do like a test shoot with them at times, like just to see how? Because someone can be really good in an interview setting, but then in a real life setting they might be different. So do you like test them out on a project first just to see how they are? And if so, like, how do you do that? Because if you're in a different location, do you like fly out for a project just to see and then add them on, or?
Yes, sometimes. I mean, sometimes I do fly and then I meet them in person and I work with them on a project. I used to do this in the very beginning. I would have, like dinner with them or lunch, or sit down and then talk and then see how we vibe together. But then now I learned that, a call like this, FaceTime call where you have a conversation, it's also another way to get to know someone. And not only that, but also their style of filming, because you can tell about the person by the way their footage looks or the way their videos look. That's the way I get the sense of, okay, this is who they are because their work represents them as people, right? So if they have high standards, good standards, excellent video, I mean, they will have excellent videos up there. The style will be according to our style as well. So yeah, I mean, I had a filming event in Nashville not too long ago, and then I used a videographer I've never used before, um, and yeah, it turned out pretty good. Good, he did it very well with the client. And same in, we had an event in Las Vegas. We don't have a location there, but one of our clients was in Las Vegas. And then I made some research and I found someone who was using, Sony FX6 and FX3s. And I said that's awesome. That's the exact same equipment we use here, FX3s and 6s. And then the girl did a fantastic job. I saw her portfolio and yeah, so sometimes I meet up with them in person. That's ideal, to have a gig that pays, a lot. I mean, a lot to the point where I can also fly there and then we're also profitable and then spend time with them. It's a two-person filming event. So that's ideal. But if that doesn't happen, it's okay. There's another way to vet them.
Have you had any
Thing
like situations happen?
Not really, no. And I don't think I
good
had really
vetting
had
process.
I
Knock
really
on
had to
knock on
think
wood.
about it. Knock on
Yeah,
wood,
knock
my
on
guess.
wood, knock on wood.
But no, I didn't. I really had to think about it. But no, I didn't have like any bad experiences. No.
I'm a bit curious, though, with all these different people that you're going to be working with. Yes, they have roughly a good style that's relatively similar to tone. How do you consolidate the actual delivery process of content to clients? Like, because you're operating in 20 cities, you might have 20 projects on the go. Do you have like a roster of editors as well who are essentially creating the content, or are you specifically looking for videographers that can shoot it and also edit the content to deliver for you?
But yes, that's such a good question. So I'll walk you through the process. When I firstly started Tone Films, the one thing that I realized is that I will not be editing any of these videos. I just don't have the time to learn editing. And I I outsourced editing from the very beginning. And I found a really good editor. My brother told me about his editor, and then fast forward 6 years, I still work with the same editor that I started, and then he has a team of editors. So I'm working with him, and then he does most of the edits or the editing. And then if he has too many videos to edit, he will pass on to some of his team members. But I just keep in touch with one main editor. And then I say, hey, we have this, 5 or 10 videos. They need to be delivered on this date. This is the deadline. I need to have them ready. So I just work with one editor, and I've been working with him for the last 6 years. Yeah, and it's been going very, very well.
It's very fortunate to have someone who essentially, well, you say he's one editor, but he has a team of people that he also trusts, right? So he's kind of done the hard work for you in that sense, where he has like a group of people that he can rely on, so that if you have an influx of work, it'll always be taken care of. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And then that's the way I see, the video in the videography industry. There's gotta be multiple people, and then all of us working together would deliver a fantastic product. But we all have our strengths and weaknesses. My strength is to connect with the clients, is to do SEO, to do like market, to bring in clients. That's my strength, keeping in touch with the clients, signing the contracts, not editing. I mean, if you ask me to edit something or edit any videos, I can do basic edits, the cuts, and then shortening the videos, probably add some like lower thirds. That'll take me a lot of time to actually put some like cool lower thirds there, but it's just, I know basic editing. Those are my skills into editing. But then in terms of branding and then adding more locations, SEO, connecting with the client on the phone, signing contracts, emails. I mean, that's my strength, and I very much enjoy doing that. Same with like filming. I do enjoy filming. I think I have that creative eye, and very often I'm out there and then I film events. I connect with the client and I go and then film. But then if I really want to have an expert, I know there are some like expert people out there in terms of camera settings, uh, and then make lenses, the choice of lenses, or all of this, everything that goes into like the in-depth videography. There are some experts out there that I would rather partner with them, pay them however much, they want, they feel comfortable. So they're happy. I'm happy because I bring the client in. The editor is happy too. So, everyone on the team does something, but together, we run as a company.
Is that you're talking about the pre-production side in terms of, so I guess if you have a more creative project that requires a lot of prep and planning and creative direction and things like that, because you work in a wide range of projects. How do you go about that process? Because it's one thing to hire, like, say, a videographer for an event, right? Those are very straightforward types of, projects to kind of sign on and execute on. But how do you go about a more creative type process where you need to bring in a lot more people on the pre-production side?
Those take a lot more time of preparation. So that's something that as the company, we're transitioning to more of this type of projects. They're more complex. They're also more lucrative. So I have a small creative team that we all, keep in touch, and then we present the details. Um, and then, the pre-production is a process between us in-house coming up with the details, and then the vision, the creative eye, and then sending that to the client for review and then edits. So, but we do have someone in-house here. It's mostly on the editor's side. Like he's more like the director of, or he has that creative eye. And then I keep in touch with him, and he tells me, hey, yeah, we're gonna go, because he does all the post-production. So if we film in a certain way, it's gonna help him and then his team to do the post-production. Um, so I guess it begins with the end in mind. It begins with the
The
end
end in mind.
in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was Steve Covey was talking about this. Yes, beginning with the end in mind. So, yeah, that's a very interesting process. We look at the how do we want the final product to be, and then we plan the shots, and the models, the voiceover, and all of that. So it's a big process. But what I realized that what a lot of clients are looking for is great communication. That's one of the biggest skills that, I mean, I do want to say some majority of videographers or entrepreneurs, business owners, they have that. When they have good communication and then they're punctual, that communicates a spirit of excellence. And that's what a lot of some of these big corporations or companies like Tabasco or KFC or Paramount or Yellowstone, Disney, Walmart, all of these, big corporations. When I work with them, they expect me to reply to their emails within hours. If I reply to their emails, 12 hours later or 24 hours, that's late, because if I text you something or if I email you something, I need an answer as soon as possible, because it's a chain of decisions. I get an answer from you, and then I need to ask someone else and someone else and someone else. And if I reply to that emails 5 hours later, and then finally they get an approval from their end, 5 or 6 hours later, or they don't get the approval, they have some questions, that's going to add more hours onto the process. So communication is like one of the excellent traits that I guess sets us apart, when in this process.
How big's your team right now? It's you and who else?
So we work with everyone on our team is a contractor. So in terms of videographers, goodness, I don't know, 40, 50. They're all, contractors. So every time we have an event, reach out to them and then they work on that. And then I have someone who does the SEO, and the same, they're all contractors. And then someone who does works in marketing for the company, and then the editor, and then his team. So probably
But it's
around
just
80
you permanent.
people.
It's just you who's
Yes,
permanent. There's no salaried employees or anything like that.
exactly. Yes, no
Everyone
one
is
is,
just contract based.
everyone is contract based. Yes, there's no full-time employees. Yes, and the
I was that
majority of
with
the work, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna ask like, do you foresee yourself converting some of the contractors to full time or part time employees, or do you think it just makes sense to keep it as status quo?
Possibly somewhere down the road, maybe the marketing person or the executive assistant, maybe I'm going to transition her into like a full-time position. But then I say that now, but then thinking about it, I would rather hire someone with a limited amount of hours, but them being an expert in their field. And then instead of having her do several things, I'd rather have, the marketing person just do marketing. So I guess if the company grows to the point of, it grows more, I guess, yes, it will make sense to bring more employees and then have them full time, each one into their area of expertise, such as, marketing, one person, or sales, another person, full time. But right now, even though we're like in 20 cities, we're not at the point where we have like full time employees. So maybe yes, I'll say in the future, definitely yes, if I'm still gonna be doing videography.
So maybe that's one of the reasons why you're not dipping into that. It's like, do you foresee yourself continuing this for a long time, or do you see yourself transitioning into something else?
Yes, that's long term. I see myself transitioning to something else. I mean, I love videography. I've done it for 6 years. Um, but one of my other passions are accounting. I know they're kind of like opposite because you have the creative eye and then you have the analytical part of the brain. I'm very passionate about numbers and then accounting. It's fascinating to me, and I've been studying, for the CPA exam for the last 2 months now, almost every day, and it's just amazing to understand this taxation part, TCP. That's what I'm studying right now for that part, and it's so I love it, man. I'm really passionate about the taxation part of accounting, and then just accounting in general. It's such a beautiful world. So long term, I don't know. I may transition into accounting, starting. I mean, I've already started an accounting firm, so that's a second company that I'm running on the side. It's very low key, but once I pass the CPA exam, hopefully by the end of this year, then because there are 4 exams, so once I pass all of these 4 exams for to become a certified public accountant, um, I foresee that I may transition into accounting and owning a CPA firm, and then I will most likely be doing the same thing. Have several locations all across the states, and that it's easier to scale an accounting firm because all you got to do is just hire accountants, and then you or CPAs, and then you partner that CPA with the client or a group of clients, and it's about profit margins here. So it's just the way the company's
Sorry,
CPA
Andre, do
firm
me
will
a
be
favor.
structured.
Stop tapping the mic on the MacBook.
Oh, you can hear that?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just stop touching the
Stop
laptop.
touching stuff.
Well, anyways, you're
Yes.
you're saying it's easier to scale up because I guess you just gotta hire human calculators instead of like people that are creative and need
Well,
to
either
be all.
that, yes, but I mean, you can also tap into like the AI industry and then see how AI is gonna transform. I mean, AI is coming into the videography world right now pretty heavily. And I'm not saying that will eliminate a lot of videographers, but in terms of editing, I mean, that will simplify a lot of things, or will make editing much easier on the editor's side. It's hard to say that AI will completely eliminate editors or videographers, because there are companies out there. I mean, you have conferences or live productions, and that's something that I want to tap into. Live productions, and it's a completely different side of videography, where you have the audio and visual team. This is something more complex that I believe comes with more years of experience. You'll learn more about videography, and that's something that we want to transition into. But then, yes, with the accounting world, it's also something that I'm very passionate about, and I think at the end of the day, it's doing something that is fully remote, and you're also deeply passionate about. And if I, genuinely think about this, for me, it would be accounting. I'm very passionate about analyzing a company's numbers, so to say, being a doctor for the company, seeing what's right, what needs to be fixed, what expenses are out there that need to be cut, or what are some ways where a company can improve their sales and income. So I may still be doing videography for on the side, or hire a someone to run the company, and then still be there in the background, or just fully sell the company.
It sounds essentially like you want to continue doing what you're doing, but just changing the product and service essentially in terms of what you want to do. Because what you just described is exactly what you're doing with tone films, but with accounting as the service in mind specifically. So you've essentially turned tone films as like the testing ground to see kind of like how you want to go about things, and then now you're thinking about switching over to the other industry.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And the way I actually started tone films was, I mean, think of this. I have a master's in finance. For someone with a master's in finance to go into videography, there's got to be a question mark there. Why and how did this person land on videography with the master's in finance? And I applied for over 3,500 jobs before I actually landed
Wow.
on an accounting job at the end of 2020. So all throughout 2020, starting with March, right when COVID hit, I was about to graduate in May, and I was looking for jobs. I was like, okay, February is approaching. I need to apply for jobs. So I started applying for jobs beginning with February. And then I went through a lot of interviews with a lot of companies. Some of them were not a good fit for me. I was not interested in them. Some other companies, they didn't have that. They didn't think I had the qualifications or the skills or the experience for a recent graduate. I mean, who graduates from college with years of experience? That's pretty rare. So, but I mean, it's understandable. Everyone, like when I hire people right now, I hire people with experience, and then some people have different expectations, and the same we have. As business owners, we have our preferences. So, yeah, I that was an opportunity for me that I wanted to take over, the videography, starting a video production company. And I've done it for 6 years, and I very much enjoy what I'm doing. It's just I really haven't had the time to sit down and then think, what do I really want to do in life? Like, what do I really love? What am I passionate about? Because at that time, I just needed to have a job to make some money, and something that was also, decently passionate about. And videography was the thing. I mean, my brother had the blueprint. He said, do this and you will make money. And I remember my first filming event was a wedding, because I was signed up on the knot. And then I charged this lady, I think her name was Nikia, and I charged her $550 for 1 hour of filming. And I remembered, I remember I was talking with my brother, and I was so happy, and I said, hey man, I just made $550. And that's so much money, because I remember that was like my paycheck, because I was a student worker. I was making $725 an hour. And for me, $550, that was a lot of money. And he was like, dude, you're gonna be making so much more money. 550, it's nothing. And and I remember I signed this contract. This is, the summer of 2020, like a month or a month and a half into me starting the company. I didn't even know what a wedding was made out of. Like, what were the components of a ceremony? Because, I mean, who goes to, you go to weddings just, we go to weddings because people or friends invite us to go there. And then we may have gone to, 5 or 6, 10 weddings or so for me, I might have gone to maybe 3 or 4 weddings my whole life at that point, because I was also coming from Romania, which their weddings are a bit different. So anyway, long story short, signed a contract to film this wedding, and then I didn't have the equipment. I didn't know anything about weddings, but I knew I got the lead, and now I had to figure out how was I going to do it. So I hired this videographer my brother recommended, and I paid him 100 or like $150 for that 1 hour of filming. And the client, she only wanted to have the raw footage, and I profited about $400 off of my first gig, out of 550. And I remember it was stressful because I didn't know a whole lot about how to run anything at that point. Now looking back, it sounds and it looks very simple. It's just 1 hour of filming, easy to film in and out. But back then, I didn't even know. I didn't have a gimbal. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have a drone. I didn't know about any of this. And so, yeah, it was a great experience. But that opened my eyes, and it made me understand that the sky is pretty much the limit. I mean, people are willing to pay a lot more money for per hour than $7.25 if I'm an owner of the company, And I said, okay, let me start with that. So that's what got me into videography then, helping people. But now I have the chance to sit down and then reflect on life, I'm like, man, I could do accounting for a long period of time, and then consult with people, analyze their businesses, finances, and uh, you know, that was I bumped into this reflective question, such as, what am I really passionate about in life? What do I really love doing? And it's kind of odd because you don't really hear people talking about being passionate about being a CPA or accounting, but for me, for some reason, it
Coming
really
from video
is.
too.
Yeah, coming from video too, yeah.
I mean, there's a big component like being a production company owner where you do run your own numbers. Like I do a lot of our bookkeeping, so I am always keeping track of the numbers and everything. So I can see how like you gotta like it, and you do end up liking it because it's obviously money, and who doesn't like money?
And when you see it in the
And making
positive, it's a
more
good
money.
feeling.
So I can kind of see how like
Yeah.
you could eventually like if you already have a passion for going into it, how you can make the switch eventually because I mean it is part of the job description anyhow, right? So, but yeah, a lot of people usually they wanna. I mean, I guess at the end of their career they'll want to sell the company and then go do something else. Like they finally make their short films or work on their docs. But you're thinking of a whole career switch, and I guess like it works because you're still young and you kind of got into this field accidentally anyhow, right? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's how I'm thinking is I'm still young, I can switch careers and then still have another long-term career. And then another thing that is happening is I'm also pursuing a PhD program. So I'm in a PhD program of in leadership studies, and and I even talk with, when I talk with my friends, I tell them we have a limited time, and that's what's going to set us apart from our generation or from our peers is the way we develop, and then the way we invest in our time on a daily basis, because we all have the same amount of time in a day, 12 hours, 14 hours, however many hours we want to put into the day. And then the way we are effective and efficient with our time is going to set us apart. It's going to help us, make more progress in life, or just be at the same level, stay at the same level. And I had friends asking me, Andre, why do you want to get for a PhD program? And then besides the fact that I'm passionate about education and then learning more, becoming a better person, um, A simple reason is that, time goes by anyway. Why not get another degree? And not only that, but why not learn more on life, on a certain topic that you're passionate about? Because inevitably we will have to fill out that time with something. It can be watching the TV, playing tennis, or whatever hobbies we want to do, watching some YouTube videos. Mr. Beast just came out with his shows, or whatever. We will have to fill out that time with something, and then by adding a degree or being intentional with something, it will fill out the time with that specific thing, and later on, 3-4 years down the road, you're going to have a PhD, or you're going to have a master's degree, or you're going to become a CPA. So that's a strategy that I implemented recently, was to wake up in the morning like 4:55 in the morning, right before 5 o'clock. And I've been doing this for the last almost 2 months now, so it's been going very well. I mean, I've had ups and downs. I almost skipped probably 2 days. I'm counting the days I'm actually waking up, because I want to see the progress and how consistent I am. And the goal is to do it all, through 2026, and then see how consistent and disciplined I can be, with waking up in the morning, and then draw the line at the end of 2026. We're already done with January. And then draw the line at the end of 2026, and then see, okay, I was pretty consistent with this. What have I accomplished? Is it worth to add another year, let's say 2027, of these habits, and then see where the projection of my life, where am I going to be? And then the question is, if I keep doing this, where is my life going to be in like 3 years, 2 years, 3 years? How different is my life going to be? Is it going to be much different? Is it not worth doing it? And so, yeah, I like, to take some time, especially on a weekend, on a Sunday afternoon, when I'm done with everything. I usually try to take one day off and then do no work, but I like to take maybe a couple of 1 hour or 30 to 40 minutes, and then just sit down and then reflect on life and see, where am I in life right now? I'm this age. I finished my master's. I have a family. Just pretty much reflect on life and then see where I am. Things that I have accomplished. If I'm happy, I'm not happy. And then not only that, but then picture myself at the age of 70 or 80 and be like, okay, I'm 80 years old now. And I tell myself that I'm that age. And then I picture myself then, and then ask myself, did I live a happy life? Did I live a satisfied and fulfilled life? And if the answer is yes, that's amazing. That means I'm doing something wrong or something right. But if the answer is no, that means there might be some things that I may need to tweak in my life, because I don't want to live a life later on to regret on doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing, or not doing something that I was supposed to be doing, So on and off, maybe once a month, every 2 months, every couple of months, I sit down and then I reflect on life, and then ask myself, am I working too much? Some of these questions that we probably all ask. And then how do I optimize my time to the point of living a life fully satisfied and then happy? And these are topics that I can go and then talk about forever, but these are some things that helped me optimize my time throughout the day, and not only throughout the day, but throughout my weeks, the months. I'm very organized and proactive, effective and efficient with the time, to the point where I can draw the line at the end of the day and say, I'm happy. I've done fun stuff today. As a matter of fact, I'm going snowboarding at the end of this week for a couple of days with my dad, and it's something to relax and enjoy, just enjoy life. And then so, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I answered your question, or
I don't even
I
remember
got
what I
sidetracked
asked.
on that.
We got into a very, very deep discussion about life and
Turned into David
happiness and
Goggins near the
fulfillment.
end over there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have like a family that you're also balancing with this business at the same time, or is it just you right now?
So right now it's just me. Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't got
that's
to
why you're
marry
able
yet.
to work 6
That's why
days
I'm
a
like
week,
455
wake up-
doesn't
No, no, it's for me. It was the fact that he said he was working 6 days a week. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely single.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Saturdays working on Saturdays is a tough one. I mean, we have shoots on weekends sometimes, so
But not
there's
not
that,
every week.
but not every week.
No, I do work 6 days a week, but I also make time. So the way my schedule is structured is that I work from, let's say 5 o'clock in the morning. I have a routine for about like 2 to 3 hours, and then I work until 1 p.m. And then I'm pretty much done after from 1 p.m. until evening. I just do whatever is fun, whatever is relaxing, like reading a book, working out, hanging out with friends, and that's my day. It's 5 until 1 ish after lunch. Once I'm done with lunch, I may just wrap up with like one or two other emails, and then my inbox it's clean, it's clear, and then until evening I can just do fun stuff. But for me, what works the best is that morning time, 5 until probably 10 or 11. That's deep focus. And once I'm done with that, which is, it can be energy draining, but once I'm done with that, then I can carry on with the day. And then I need to tell myself that I'm not going to be doing work past 1 o'clock. Otherwise, I'm a workaholic. I love working, and then past 1 o'clock, I would still want to do some work. And then sometimes I get emails and I reply to their emails, but that's not like intense work. So I plan, the rest of the day accordingly. Like I work out for like 2.5 hours. I just take my time. I go to the sauna, just play
But I mean,
tennis,
he's single.
so
He's single.
He's
Yeah,
just,
that's
like,
yeah, I
three
have the
hours working
time
out.
to
He's
do
hear this
definitely
stuff.
single.
No, the question is also when you go to sleep, because if you have to be up
Yeah.
at
That's what I
5,
wanted to ask. Like, what time
like,
does he
so
go to sleep?
it must be you must be going to sleep at 9 or
9,
something.
yeah.
That's it. That's right. So 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is the line. Yeah, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. Now, if it's a weekend on a Friday night and I'm going out with some friends, I can still go to sleep. Like 11 o'clock. That's rare. Probably 10:30, 11 at the latest. But still have to. I know that I have to wake up before 5 o'clock. I know that, and I will do it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's life. If you're not married, are you guys married or
He's
I'm
married.
married.
I'm
you're married?
technically married. I'm
He's
calling
basically
it
married.
technically. In the eyes of the government, here we're married.
Okay. Yeah, that takes. I guess. I mean, that takes a lot of time, and then it's a responsibility. Like I was dating someone not too long ago. We ended the relationship. It's responsibility to just plan dates and make it fun, and it's just it's different. Yeah, yeah.
Don't
I
do it,
cannot.
Andre.
I can.
Stay
Don't do-
single as long as you can until you make your millions.
Yeah. One day, yeah, maybe one day that's gonna happen. But
Watch
until then,
your
I'm
schedule
happy.
your schedule will shift. Whatever their work schedule is, that's your work schedule.
I
Yeah,
really
I mean,
want to
yeah,
revisit this in like I don't know 5-10 years and see if he's still able to keep
yeah.
5
He'll be with like a
a.m.
kid
9
or
p.m.
two. He's like,
bedtime,
I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. 5 o'clock is
3 hours
not
at the gym. My God,
That
I
Yeah,
used to
is
that,
do
that
this.
sounds like
That
a
was a good,
dream.
dude. 3 hours at the gym. That was good times back in the day.
I remember. I
Yeah,
remember those
It's
times.
from like 5 to 8. No one's bugging you. You just go out there. You're hanging out.
pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much me, man. I work out in the middle of the day, man. Like 2 p.m. I'm there just by myself. Not a lot of people. It is really nice. Yeah, I'm
I
sure
go
things will
now at
change. Yeah,
I go now at 3 just because like if I work from home, so if I stay here too
Yeah.
long, I start
yeah,
to get like a headache. So I need to
It's
like
good
go
to
out and
it's
get
good
some
to
fresh air.
separate it. It's good to separate it sometimes midday if it's like a work from home day. Go in the middle of the day to the gym for like an hour, break it up a
yeah,
little bit, and then come back and continue working a little bit later in the day. It just makes things easier.
yeah. It breaks the day. Yeah,
Okay, I think that's a good.
yeah,
I think we've reached the climax of the episode with that whole discussion. So I think let's just cut it off here because we're already at the
yeah.
1 hour mark. But yeah, Andre, it was great to have you on. I'm curious to see how your career path unfolds. Like
Yeah.
switching over careers like that is. But you're very analytical, so I can see why it makes sense for
Yeah.
someone like you. But yeah, we'll we'll be keeping an eye on your career with great interest.
With great
As
interest.
Great interest.
As
We will watch your
Palpatine-
career with great interest.
as Palpatine would say.
Yeah, you know, on one hand, but then on the other hand, I really enjoy these big and then complex projects, such as live productions. I had the chance to, I'm volunteering at the church here in Dallas. It's called Watermark Church. And I mean, they host about, I guess, 4,000 people per service. And they have, you know, several services per Sunday. And yes, and then I serve in the media department. I get to see, you know, their the whole production where they have, you know, different soundboards, and then they have all of these TV screens where they have a switcher, you know, just the whole production, which is so much, it's so much bigger than just holding an FX3 in your hand on a gimbal and then just filming around. You know, there's so many elements that go into this, and for me, see, that's fascinating. It's something that stirs up my interest. I would
You should go
like
into
to.
TV, like live TV.
Yeah, live TV, but see, that's a one setup. You know, you do it in a one setting, and then that's it, you're done. But then how about doing it for a stadium of like 20, 30,000 people? You know, you have a whole production there with maybe, you know, 50 videographers. You know, just like larger scale productions. That's something that I'm interested in. And it's not necessarily about the money. Oh, they're gonna pay, you know, whatever X amount of money. It's more about doing it, and then doing it well, making it look professional and nice. So that's something, it's a big challenge that that stirs up my interest, that I would love to do, you know. So I'm debating if I should just go more into maybe 5 or 6 contracts a year that are bigger productions, you know, instead of doing all of these like smaller events. So I'm in a transition period. Definitely accounting. I love accounting, that for sure, you know, but I'm also looking at tapping into this industry as well. Have you guys done any of these like live productions, or what are your thoughts on it?
Nah, we're
No.
scared of them.
No,
See, that's what I'm
put it
saying. A
mild-
lot of
to
us
put
are
it
scared of
it
mildly.
it.
gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
It gives me anxiety thinking about having to make sure to do anything live like that. It's just we've done live productions with 1 or 2 people,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
those, it's like you can never be 100% certain on how things are gonna go, right? And then the more people you start adding in, the more elements of where things could potentially go wrong happen. At the very least, on those types of live events that are broadcast to thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I don't want to say I'm scared, but it's something that I would love to learn more about it, and then master that skill of saying live production, 20,000 people. I got you. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's gonna be smooth, easy. That's what I do on a daily basis, you know.
I love this back and forth. You're like corporate
Accounting,
video production. I
live
got that. Then to
stream.
accounting. Then all of a sudden, yeah, live streaming events. Like oh my god. Yeah, you do definitely. You have a lot of thinking to do. That's for sure, as you were saying.
He's got too
right?
much time in
Yeah.
the day. That's the problem.
I
He's
guess
not
I have
one-
too much
yeah.
time.
It's too much time.
I'm not married,
Anyone
man.
that spends more than 30 minutes at the gym has too much time in their hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be efficient. Get that hit workout in, and that's it.
That's it.
Oh man, I'm at the gym. I have a notebook. I write down, you know, my progress.
his
I
journal.
I have my journal. Yeah.
Do you
I have a whole
diary?
life for myself. Yeah.
In like 3 years, Dario, we'll talk to him again, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I got a lovely wife now, so now my days are at the farmers markets. The weekends are this." It's like, when did you go to the gym? Like, what do you mean gym? I
don't
do
See,
10
the
push-ups.
Foreign
thing is,
concept.
he's single now, so he has time to think about other things he wants to do, careers to explore. Once he gets a girl, that's it. that extra time is trying to figure out what to do during that week with your girl.
And
The
don't even get
farmer's
started.
market,
Not
date
even to
night.
mention kids. What it'll be when
Oh,
kids
man.
start rolling around too. It's like you thought you had less time before. Oh yeah, just wait.
So how long have you guys been in a relationship for, like married for?
I've been with my wife for 9 years now, and we've been married for 2 almost. So
Congratulations. Yeah, 9 and then 2. That's a pretty long time. Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I've been with my girl 6 years.
Wow.
So around the time you started Tone Films, is he started
That's
with
when
his girlfriend?
Yeah, that's when I started
Man,
my
that's
other
a-
business.
That's a full-time job of its own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the second business, you know.
Dang.
Technically the third business. But
Oh my goodness.
We joke that they're the second wives, you know, like Dario and I are like the first, you know. So
Oh.
we are.
Because you guys spend a lot of
Yeah.
time together, right? You edit, you
Yeah.
work together. You have you run the company together too. Yeah.
yeah,
A
we
lot
don't
of
meet
pain
too
and
many
suffering
people.
with that guy on the other end.
Yeah.
So how
A lot
many
of calls.
episodes?
He won't leave
how
me
many
alone. He keeps
episodes?
calling.
Well, we're at what, like 112 now, right? 113.
Yeah, this one's 112.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So this even of itself, you know, is like something that takes a lot of time to produce. I mean, like in the beginning, it took a lot longer because we had to edit everything manually. But thankfully now with Riverside, it's become very useful for our approach, and it's
I'll
taken
be
a lot of the
posting
time
this
out.
one tomorrow. So today's February 9th. So I'll be posting this one February 10th. That's one thing we're doing different this year is like trying to pump them
Posting
out.
quicker.
Yeah,
That's
a lot
awesome.
sooner. So if I record them one day, I try to get them out the next day.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I cannot wait to rewatch this and laugh of what we just talked about.
Let's end it
Yeah.
off here though, and then we
Yeah.
can
Okay.
still chat afterwards, just so we don't bore our audiences, all those
Yeah.
100 of them that listen to this.
Or yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Andrei, great to
Okay.
have you
We
on.
appreciate it.
If you guys want to check out Andrei's website, it's tonefilms.com, and his socials are
At Tone Films.
at Tone Films, I'm guessing. Oh no,
Yeah.
at tone.films.
Yeah, that's the Instagram. Yeah.
And if you guys
Yeah.
need your bookkeeping done, or tax season is right around the corner, use code Andrei for 10% off.
10%
If you
off.
sign up now with
Instead of
this
Tone
company
Films,
in the
it's
future,
Tone Numbers or Tone Accounting.
It's actually called Atomic Accounting.
Oh, wait, you already
Accounting.
started it? The company?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
yeah, he said he
Really?
started it, Dario. It's already.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
we
bad. I
are-
thought you were still studying for it, or...
Yeah. Well, I'm studying for the CPA, but we already started the company. It's an accounting firm. We're top 3 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we're there. Atomic
Maybe some
Accounting.
video production companies might also need your services, so that's a good place to
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
since
If
you know the
there's,
business.
Oh,
Yeah, if there's
there
any
you go.
video production companies in Tulsa area, reach out to Andrei. Well, what was the
And then
website for that?
Dallas.
I don't have a web. It's just like a Facebook page for that. But if they
Okay.
search Atomic Accounting in Tulsa, they'll find the information there.
Is it
Yeah, so
Atomic
the-
with a C or with a K?
Just regular. See.
Okay. I always feel
Okay.
like whenever they do like
Everyone
words
changes
like
it,
that,
yeah.
they always put a K instead of like a C.
Or if they want to be fancy, they put a QUE Atomic. You know?
Oh, there you go. No, I kept it simple. Yeah, I kept it simple there. But the logo, I worked on that logo a lot, and I'm really happy that logo turned out very, very well. So yeah.
Nice. Well, best of luck in that venture as well, and thanks again, Andrei, for joining us on the show.
Man. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Creatives Grab Coffee. Please make sure to follow and engage with us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, and your favorite podcast app.
Creatives Grab Coffee is created by Labs Productions, a video production company based in Toronto, Canada.
Creatives Grab Coffee is also sponsored by
My name is Miran. Welcome to Canada Film Equipment. We are a boutique rental house based in Toronto. We are here to help you guys out with all production sizes. feel free to contact us to get a quote if you are a production house and you're looking for lighting, camera packages, or lighting and group band packages. You can see our contact information in the link below. We're more than happy to help you guys out. Make sure you follow and subscribe to creativesgrabcoffee.com. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Matt. Welcome to Audio Process. We are a boutique audio company doing location sound, sound design, post-sound, ADR, Foley. We service equipment. We do all your audio needs here in Toronto. We got you covered. Come on down, audioprocess.ca. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and all of the other internet things to creativesgrabcoffee.com. They'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you, and we're all going to have a real good time.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.